Hello everyone, welcome back to the woods at Lone Pine Tarot, or welcome for the first time if you're just finding me here. For today's Pick a Card reading, we are basking in the sunny energy of spring and looking into incoming blessings to see what joy is about to bloom for you. Quite straightforward, so let's take a peek at your pile leaders today, choosing with 3 different flowers. On the left for pile 1, your leader is the Magnolia. In the middle for pile 2, your leader is the Crocus. And on the right for pile 3, your leader is the Yellow Rose. Pause here, of course, if you need an extra moment to decide, but when you're ready, your timestamp is waiting in the description. I'll see you in your reading. Hello there, pile 1. Welcome to your Joy and Blessings reading for today. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to Magnolia as your pile leader. And I didn't say this in the intro, but I will read the title and quote. It says, "Nobility and Self-Esteem." And the quote says, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self." And that quote is by Ernest Hemingway. So keep that in mind as a theme while we go through your other cards. First up with your Oracle decks, Spirit, calling on you for the highest best good at pile 1. Can you tell us more about this joy blooming in their life soon here? Thank you. So first up, we have the Witch with the element of water, experimentation and rebellion. Makes me wonder if some of you recently have been trying something new, hence the keyword of experimentation. This blessing might come in that direction then, in that there could be a success of some sort regarding that, but let's keep going. Second Citadel Oracle is the Catalyst with the element of fire, opposing water but blended together. That is where our heart and our ambitions meet. So that's another kind of a theme here. And it says radical changes and taking control. So yes, it's something very new here. Either, like I said, you have been experimenting with something and the blessing is coming in that direction, as in, like I said, a success, or in general, it's something you're not expecting in terms of a blessing because there are so many themes of newness and something radically changing, like the Catalyst says. Okay, good things so far. That's good. Then from your Sacred Destiny, okay, we actually had quite a few cards just fell out on my arm, so I'm going to shuffle one more time. As much as I would love to have 5 cards on the table from one deck for you, we'll try to whittle it down to 1. There we go. So we have Stillness. Interesting. We have a card of experimentation and things changing with the Catalyst, but then we have Stillness. So not only do I see this blessing as rapid movement or related to a rapid change, but perhaps it has been recently for you a very still time. Things have been kind of frozen. You can even see by the edges of the card here, there's frost. And of course we have the graceful swan under the Aurora Borealis on the ice. Things thawing for you, which is very fitting for if you're watching this in the season it's uploaded in. It is spring, so it's like things are finally warming up, things are finally thawing, moving from a time of inaction to things finally opening up for you. So it could also be related to an opportunity. Let's keep grabbing some details here from Spirit. We have your Surrender deck. Alright, and here is your Surrender card for today. Surrender your belief in scarcity, and the quote at the bottom says, "The universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life," so, like I said, moving from stillness into motion, as we discussed before, remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. So yes, I think this new thing you've been working on, pile 1, is going to be a success, and that is the joy blooming in your life soon. And then we'll grab your tarot cards and put the whole message together. I almost wonder if some of you have been trying something with planting or gardening, because there's a lot of, not just because of the flower, which, everyone had a flower card today, obviously, but the Witch makes me think of working with something new in terms of gardening or botany. And even the Catalyst has like a botanical theme to it. That, or it could metaphorically represent like growing something in your life too, even if it's not like a literal plant. Or multiple plants, I should say. And then we have the Four of Swords, which makes total sense because this is your inciting incident card. So this is kind of where the energy of all this is stemming from. And that's very similar to stillness. It's literally the card of things having been at rest, things having been very still. So it's just like that swan, that stillness card. Bit of a synchronicity there. So I think I was bang on when I was saying, hey, wait a minute, have things been kind of slow for you recently, pile one? Maybe you've been hoping for like more thawing, hoping for more change, in which case, yes, this is confirming part of the blessing is rapid movement after that time of stillness. Then for your second card, we have the Five of Wands reversed, reducing competition, reducing blockages that are related to the butting of heads or people kind of clashing egos. So there actually might be an element here too in the past of like, this is part of what was blocking the progress was like other people kind of getting in the way, or too many fingers in the pie, so to speak, or too many cooks in the kitchen. That's another really good phrase to use that I'm thinking of in that. You know, maybe if it's related to work, it's like you were trying to get progress done on a project, but then so many people wanted to take it in so many different directions, and it was more about their ego rather than just getting the job done, that was slowing everything, it was stalling. Or, you know, maybe if it's like a solo project, not so much related to work or your career, or even if it is, it's like an independent thing. Maybe the progress stalled was like you waiting for other people to kind of like let egos draw back or fall down and just kind of help you gather these resources too. And then that makes me think too, with taking control as one of the phrases with the catalyst for your cards today, maybe part of this blessing as well is you actually taking the reins over. For those of you that resonate with the message of too many cooks in the kitchen having messed everything up, you're finally able to step into a vacancy there, into a gap in leadership, and take the control yourself. I wonder if maybe the Chariot might come up as one of your tarot cards. We'll see. That kind of gives me Chariot vibes here. So let's keep going. We have then the Ten of Cups, beautiful emotional satisfaction. It also is a really good sign here in terms of happy relationships. Now, typically that would mean like in a romantic sense, or like a partnership working out in a romantic sense. But in this case, because your reading so far has been about like your goals or your ambitions or a project that you've been doing that's new recently, this to me means emotional satisfaction in terms of that's really what the full blessing is. Like, yes, you do have the blessing of, okay, yeah, the goal is coming. There's going to be progress. I'm going to succeed with whatever this is. But at the same time, really the underlying goal is you finally finding emotional satisfaction in life with whatever this is. Okay, like there's a satisfaction of, yes, you know, maybe money or maybe success or maybe outside validation of victory, of course. But really the true blessing here, the true joy is you feel fulfilled in your heart in some way. Also, especially with the influence of the Five of Wands reversed just before, it could mean that not only will you see progress in, for those of you resonating with like people kind of having butted heads in the past at least, like that can mean that not only will people kind of finally get along together, or at least to a point where progress can be made, you might actually find a friend out of it, or you might find someone that actually is like a good like platonic partner for you in this particular project or goal that you have. Or if it's at work, there's at least like one person I can see that steps forward and really helps you say, hey, you know what, I'm sick of the waiting, I'm sick of the stalling and the red tape too. Let's just get down to brass tacks, nose to the grindstone, and get this done and get this forward. Okay. Then we have the Two of Wands, fantastic card in terms of making plans for the future. So not only is the blessing you making progress on this project or this goal, it's also the opening up for you to take it even beyond your current goal, because that's what the Two of Wands is all about is, okay, I'm at the point now, once again, of I'm planning for something. It's not just taking action. It's now, okay, what's the next step? So now that you've gone from, you know, A to B, which is a blessing in and of itself, it's like you'll have that opened up and that resource and time to take it A to Z now instead of just A to B, if that kind of makes sense, right? Pile one. Okay. And then the final card today is the Six of Wands reversed. Okay, and I always tell people in blessing readings, I do read reversals or negative cards differently because we're asking, well, what's positive that's going to happen? So normally a Six of Wands reversed would mean a lack of victory, but in this case, for a blessing reading, I would read that as that's energy that's going to change into something positive. So before, on the path that you were on, we had victory blocked, okay? But as I said in a blessing reading, that means to me that that's part of what's going to turn around. You will find that victory. You will find that success with whatever it is you're looking for. Now, I'm going to ask a little bit more about how this comes about. Now, I know we talked about maybe some people kind of getting out of the way if they've been butting heads, and we talked about maybe a partner coming forward as well, but I just want to get some more nitty-gritty details for you on, like, the how of this, just to help you out. So, Spirit, what's the how of this? How does this progress get made, or what is the, speaking of the catalyst or the catalyst, what's the catalyst of that? I want to know, and I think Pile 1 probably wants to know too. Thank you. We have, let's see, the Queen of Cups reversed. That might mean that there is a current influence in the situation who is feminine energy, probably a water sign or has a lot of water placements in their chart, and or there's someone who is feminine energy, kind of maybe emotionally immature, or they're like not really sure what they want, they're indecisive. So indecisiveness might have been a part of what was stalling everything before. Maybe this person is in a leadership position regarding the situation, especially if this is like job related for you, Pile 1. And then it's like their influence is removed, so that's part of it. I don't know how their influence is removed. Maybe we'll see that with the other cards, but I do see at least that part kind of getting out of the way. And then we have the Hermit reversed. Okay, something coming to light, coming out of its shell that was quiet before. Maybe someone finally speaks up. Maybe this person actually does speak up too, or people speak up and saying, well, this person's kind of been stalling progress. Let's kind of gently remove them from the situation so that we no longer have to worry about the stall in progress, okay? And then to, for those of you that aren't resonating with that, though, you're like, well, I don't really know a Queen of Cups reversed in this situation. That could mean it's your own energy, Pile 1, where because of all the stalling and because of all the lack of progress, you've been wondering, you know, is this really what I want? Because, as I said, a Queen of Cups reversed can represent a time when we feel like we're not sure exactly what we desire. We don't feel like heart aligned with what we're doing. Because she really is the Queen of the Heart. She's a Queen of Hearts, really. So the how of this, then, is you finally, as I said, every reversal is different in blessing readings. You're realizing, okay, this is exactly the direction I want to go after a time of perhaps you've been thinking about it a lot. Because the Hermit reversed is, I have been in solitude, and now I'm going to come out of this shell and take the wisdom and the stuff that I've thought about while I was in my solitude moment, in my hermit mode, and now I'm going to bring that light and shine it forward on my project and shine it forward on the path ahead of me so that I know exactly where to go. So if you have been planning a lot recently too, I just want to tell you, especially in solitude, it's going to pay off, and that's part of why this progress is made, okay? And then your last card for this part is the Two of Swords. Interesting. That kind of makes me think of the Queen of Cups reversed, that indecision, not being sure exactly what we want, at least from the viewpoint of your heart. Because the Two of Swords is about being not sure which direction to go. She's blindfolded, she has two swords in front of her, and swords in tarot represent at least, well, they can be ideas, and they can also be thoughts, because they're the air symbol in tarot. And so that might mean maybe some of you have even been kind of conflicted in two different directions. Maybe that's part of what's been stalling it too, and hence your hesitation if you're feeling that Queen of Cups energy is more about you rather than someone else. And so you've been like, well, I don't know. I mean, how am I going to decide? I don't know which one to go with. Or like a new thing came up and you're like, well, should I go with this new thing versus the old goal that I had? I almost wonder, because of that Two of Swords, I'm getting an intuitive sense that you actually might be able to do both things, or like do a hybrid path, and that's actually what brings it to success. I'm going to pull just one more clarifier on that, Pile 1, to be sure, okay? We have, oh beautiful, the Wheel of Fortune, so things finally turning around in, you know, it's a positive card, so things turning around in a positive way. Things finally going back from a low point to a high point, something that is fated for you. That's another really prominent keyword with the Wheel of Fortune, is something being fated, something being within your destiny. So I don't know. I mean, this doesn't happen very often, but because of this card, Pile 1, this blessing for you of this goal being achieved with this success and victory, I want to say it is fated for you. I feel like there's almost like no way that you really can't reach success with this because of the influence of the Wheel of Fortune. But we did ask it as a clarifier of the Two of Swords. So yeah, it's like you're fated. You're fated to make a certain choice, or you're fated to do both things. Like no matter what choice you make, Pile 1, it's not a wrong one. even if your choice isn't to do a hybrid of both things. Okay. And that too, if there are other people that are influencing the situation in a way that has been stalling progress, that Two of Swords might also represent, clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, that you find a way to kind of compromise on everything with everyone else, and that's what gets them to that Ten of Cups energy of like, okay, we're no longer fighting anymore. We're no longer competing with each other and arguing over what to do or where to go. Okay, so very beautiful. Lots of progress here. And also, I didn't talk about this too much yet. I kind of forgot about it, but I remember looking at it now with the belief in scarcity card, surrender. I'll pick it up for you. There's a part of you here that I almost wonder, because of like lack of progress within just perhaps this goal recently, but it could also just be in goals in general in your life. Maybe you don't really believe in the capacity of the universe to throw something good your way. Maybe you're always kind of, and not to blame you for this, pile one, a lot of people get this way, myself included, but we get kind of jaded because we're like, oh, you know, so many bad things have happened, or I feel like nothing ever good goes my way, especially when it comes to scarcity. Maybe you aren't used to a lot of abundance. Maybe you aren't used to a lot of things working out in your favor. So that's why this card came out, I'm hearing from Spirit, is that you should just, as hard as it is, it's easier said than done, I should say, let go of your belief in scarcity, okay? And actually, that in and of itself might also relieve the blockage preventing you from this blessing right now at this point, okay? And I think you're already fated to do this because of that Wheel of Fortune influence. That's that fate card, as I said. But at the same time, I think it would go even a lot faster and a lot smoother if you did surrender your belief in scarcity. Okay, succeeding beyond your wild dreams, opening yourself to the infinite nature of abundance. And just as a final little card for you today, I want to ask, after you see this success, what's the main benefit of it? Of course, some of you might already know, but there might be a surprise. Maybe you aren't expecting, you know, a certain amount of money that might come out of it, if it's like a financial thing you've been doing, or, you know, publicly lauded, you know, being appreciated by other people after this thing goes public, or whatever it is you might be doing, right? So let's ask that. Spirit, what's something about this victory with their success that they're not expecting in a positive way? The Emperor reversed. Well, number one, once again, I read this differently in a blessing reading. So we're reading this as energy that's going to turn around. So the Emperor reversed turn around would mean where there was structure and leadership lacking before, now there is structure and leadership and order where there was chaos in the past. So there's something about this, too, that's bringing a lot more order to your life. I almost wonder, some of you, the project might actually be related to, I don't know, some of you maybe are in project management. Perhaps that's kind of one thing that comes to mind, or in general, maybe you work a job where a lot of your responsibility is around making sure things are orderly, and then so far it's been bothering you because maybe things have been kind of chaotic. At least that's the sense I'm getting, in which case part of the unexpected benefit is that there's going to be something even more in your control than there was before, because even with Catalyst, remember, one of the phrases with it was taking control of something, okay? So I almost wonder, you know, if this is a career thing for you, you might be promoted to a level of management, or like a level of like overseeing this particular project, whereas before you might have just been helping on it, like you weren't necessarily the leader of it. And for those of you, this isn't career related, it's more of an independent solo thing, or, I mean, I guess it could still be career, but it's not like, you know, a regular 9 to 5, you know, you're working on a team with somebody on it, in which case I would read this unexpected part of the blessing for you as you standing out as more of a leader than you expected. So especially if you're doing something very new, like Witch was talking about with being, you know, experimental and having rebellion, you might stand out as a leader in the industry a little bit more than you're expecting. That's one way I would interpret that Emperor reversed. And then on top of that, too, sometimes the Emperor can be a masculine figure that's older, kind of fatherly energy. It's like the fatherhood card. So for some of you, it could also be that someone comes forward that helps you with this as a, you know, side effect of this blessing that has that leadership energy that is masculine, okay? Whereas before, maybe you didn't have that help, hence why it's reversed right now. But then, as I said, blessing reading, that turns around and that person comes forward and helps you. It's a lot more of that orderly, structurally vibe of helping you. I mean, I almost wonder, maybe someone mentors you with this, because especially an Emperor energy is like, you know, as I said, fatherly, but that can also extend to someone being mentorly in some way, passing wisdom down to you. You know, speaking of the Hermit too. So maybe the Hermit means too that this person tends to maybe generally be a little bit more introverted, not so much interactive with other people in the industry, but then they see something within what you're doing and they're like, well, actually that looks like an opportunity to me. And so for some of you, I feel like that Emperor energy reaches out, that fatherly, helpful vibe. Okay. But once again, that could also be you. So for some of you, you're the leader. For some of you, a leader reaches out to you that's masculine, that helps you as an unexpected part of the blessing. So beautiful. A lot of thawing energy. Once again, makes total sense with the vibes for spring if you're watching this in the time that it's uploaded, though of course my readings are timeless. So no matter what season you're reading this or watching this, I should say, does apply as well. And yeah, everything going from stillness and quiet to all of a sudden harmony, things getting along, or people getting along, progress being made, being able to make plans again too with that Two of Wands. And then, yeah, it's fated, it's in your destiny, and I think you might have some extra help along the way that you're not expecting. Pile 1. Beautiful. So that was your reading on what joy is blooming soon in your life. I hoped it helped you. You liked it. It resonated. If so, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things. Every little bit helps the channel so much, and so I thank you for your time and your attention and your engagement. And as I always say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye. Hello there, pile number 2. Welcome to your Joy and Blessings reading. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to Crocus for your pile leader / flower today. And the bottom says cheerfulness as a theme with the quote, "It is spring again." How fitting for this reading. "The earth is like a child that knows poems by heart." And that is by Rainer Maria Rilke, I believe is how you pronounce that sure name. Feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, though. So we'll put your pile leader at the very top, and let's start with drawing your oracle cards. So calling on Spirit for your highest, best good. Spirit, tell us more about pile 2 and their blessing, their joy coming that will be blooming in the near future. Thank you. Okay, first up to bat, we have the element of earth with the forgotten, missed opportunities, fear of failure. And your second citadel is the musician with the element of water with inspiration and gratitude. So pile 2, I wonder if in the recent past there has been an opportunity that you feared you missed, or something you always wanted to do, but you never really saw like an opening for it. You know, of course, oftentimes when we're trying to do things that we're passionate about, life does get in the way in terms of, you know, realistic blockages, like, you know, having the resources to do it, having the time to do it, any other things that can potentially block our creativity or what we're actually passionate about. So if you recently have maybe like mulling over this, you've been thinking like, oh, I always wished I could have done that thing, or maybe an opportunity came up recently for it and you're like, dang it, I should have taken it, but you didn't. I think this is where this blessing is coming from. All right. And a lot of you, it might be related to obviously like music. We have someone playing the lute here, but of course, you know, it could be things other than music. It could be writing. It could be art. It could be a hobby of yours. For some reason, I'm hearing woodworking for some of you, something to do with working with wood. See how that resonates, but I did hear that specifically. And I don't know. Especially with the quote of "it is spring again," it makes me think of a cycle renewing, like an opportunity coming back into your atmosphere. Oops, there I hit my candle. Like an opportunity coming back into your, I don't know, into your awareness, coming back into cycle for you, whereas you thought, oh, I'll never have that again. So let's keep going. And then we have transformation. Speaking of spring energy, of course, we have the butterfly, which means rebirth, renewal. As I was just saying, I feel like it's like a cycle coming back to you again. So for those of you that are resonating with this so far, think about something that you had that was an opportunity that you missed that you thought would never come back again. And I think that, at least from Spirit, is your first really big hint as to what this blessing is. Now, of course, it's going to be different for every single one of you watching this particular pile, but something that can transform your life as well. Especially I'm drawn to the way that the butterfly's wings, like one is completely blue and one is completely like yellow and green. So I almost think of like two completely different phases of your life, or almost like two different lives. Maybe it's related to past lives in some way. Maybe in a past life you were also drawn to this, but it's like at that particular life, once again, you didn't have the ability to follow that particular passion. And so in this life, I'm feeling you have like a spiritual calling to it because it's something that you weren't able to do before. And then now here comes this opportunity, not just physically, but also in a spiritual manner, for you to follow what this is that you weren't able to in prior lives in the reincarnation cycle. At least in my personal belief, I believe in past lives. But we have, surrender to trust from your surrender deck. It says, trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. So pile 2. This is kind of a twofold part of the message here. I wonder if maybe you missed the opportunity in the first place because someone discouraged you. And it wasn't until afterwards, because of course, hindsight is 20/20, that you realized, oh man, I shouldn't have listened to that person. I should have gone for it and I didn't. Crap. That on top of the second part of it, as I was going to say, is when this comes back again here, as I'm seeing for you based on these cards, this opportunity, you're being warned. And maybe that was a past life thing too, where it was like, in that life you didn't do it because someone dissuaded you from doing it, or persuaded you not to do it. And then, so it could also be, I guess, is either a past life thing where you were persuaded not to do it, or in this life already you were persuaded not to do it the first time. And then now here comes this opportunity to trust yourself again and not listen to so much of what other people are saying about what you should do or what you should be or what you should be interested in, what path you should follow. So you might have a tendency to kind of doubt your direction, especially when it comes along, because maybe you're like, oh, well, I don't know, like, I should stick with what I know. The devil I know is worse than the devil I don't, like that kind of thinking. But Spirit's really encouraging you here to follow this passion, because here's the thing. When we have something we really want to do, oftentimes we think of things in like all or nothing quantities, but I'm hearing for you specifically is that there is a way to do it that doesn't necessarily require you to give up everything else, okay? Like there's a way to compromise, there's a way to do things in a hybrid manner. And I wonder too if maybe that's why the butterfly has the 2 different colors on the wings, because it's almost like you living a double life in terms of half of it is this thing that maybe you're doing already, and then half of it is this other thing that's the new opportunity that you thought you missed, either in a past life or this current one, of course, that now you're like, okay, now I can actually follow what I want to do, this thing I'm passionate about. And by doing it, it's like I can live in these 2 different worlds at the same time. I don't have to choose one over the other like maybe I had to in the past, just at least when I'm too intuitively picking up on for you, pile 2. Okay, so beautiful. We have, yes, the Knight of Cups is your inciting incident. And Knights in Tarot are action takers, pile 2. And what do they take action on? Well, the Knight of Cups takes action on his heart. So this definitely is a matter of something that you wanted to pursue based on your heart. Now, that can sometimes mean relationships, because cups are about relationships as well and our connections to other people in tarot. But it can also mean about like our emotions, our feelings, what our heart actually yearns for. And so this is something very important to you in terms of your heart. Some of you actually, maybe it is a relationship for some of you. Maybe you missed your opportunity to go out with a certain person, and now that opportunity is coming back again because maybe they're single again and they're looking for a partner, or, maybe at the time they weren't ready for a relationship, at least in terms of, like they were busy with other things or, career focused, whatever it might be. And then it comes back and you're like, okay, here it is. That, or if it's not related to a relationship, like I said, it's something that you're passionate about in terms of like hobbies and your skills and what your heart really yearns to do. Okay. So that makes total sense. That does not shock me that came out. And then we have, with the 3 of Pentacles, we have a mentor-student relationship here, but specifically the 3 of Pentacles is usually about teamwork. I wonder if part of the reason, too, is that with the element of teamwork having come up, maybe you feared at the time with the missed opportunity in the past that you wouldn't have anyone in your corner. Maybe that was part of the persuasion of someone kind of saying, oh, don't do that, I don't think that's a good idea, or you should do this instead. And so it felt like you were all alone. So that's maybe why the teamwork energy is coming in the recent past here for you in this particular position. Maybe even that's what persuaded you not to do it last time. You were like, well, I don't know. No one's really in my corner. I don't know if I can do this. In which case you're being asked once again by Spirit, remember, trust. To trust yourself in your own path. Even if you're the only person that believes in you, pile 2, that's okay. Because that's all you need in life. The only person you need in life to believe, or to do things, I should say, is to have yourself believe in yourself, I guess. I guess I didn't word that very eloquently, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? Okay. Teamwork, and then we have the 2 of Cups. Yes, you know what? I wonder if it is a relationship for some of you. For some of you, it might be a relationship. It might be someone re-entering your life that at the last time there was a missed opportunity, like either you didn't read their signs or their signals that they were interested, or like I said, maybe they were too busy. It just wasn't the right time last time. And then now, here it comes. This opportunity is coming back for you to maybe connect with them again. Or sometimes I read the 2 of Cups as a relationship with self card. So it can also be an opportunity here and a blessing of reconnecting with yourself, because that's often what we do when we do pursue our actual passions and what we actually want to do, is we reconnect with who we actually are. Because when we do things in life that aren't necessarily what we want to do or aren't necessarily what we're passionate about, that can lead to a disconnect with who we truly are. Because I don't know, sometimes I kind of view it as like we view ourselves as like a machine of like, well, I need money, so I'm going to do this thing. And like, I'm not saying that money doesn't matter. It does. You know, obviously you need stability in life, of course, financially, but at the same time, it's easier that way to think of ourselves as a tool for making money. Whereas when we're actually following a passion, it's more about feeding a fire within ourselves rather than feeding a fire outside of ourselves, if that kind of makes sense with that metaphor I'm using. Okay, so that's the relationship with self card sometimes too. If you're not resonating with a relationship interpretation, it's more this blessing of finding yourself again, having harmony with yourself again in your own soul and your heart and what it is that you're pursuing and doing, okay? And then we have the 4 of Cups. You're not going to notice it though. You're not going to notice it. Because that's the card of sometimes apathy, but it's also the card of something coming along that you don't notice until it's right staring you in the face. Okay, literally because this guy, or I don't know, is that a lady or a guy? I can't tell. I don't know, a person, them. They are meditating. They're kind of silent. They have their eyes closed. They're thinking about these 3 cups in front of them, but they're not expecting the cup that's being handed to them from an off-angle direction. Literally kind of like something coming out of the blue or out of left field. Like literally to their left in that particular that particular picture, okay? And so, yeah, you're not expecting it. And then we have the Ace of Swords, a new direction. I wonder if part of it, too, is you're going to go on a completely new path, pile 2. A blessing and an opportunity to follow a new path instead of going with the old one that doesn't really feel like you anymore. And so in that case, too, transformation to me almost feels like a whole transformation of self. It's like, I'm surprised you didn't get the Death card, because death really means rebirth and change in tarot most of the time. It's like the death of who you were and letting that go, almost like a phoenix, and then rising again from the ashes of what was into this new form of yourself, just like we see with, like a phoenix or like with a butterfly, like I said with that rebirth metaphor. As long as you trust in yourself, maybe that also is what the 2 of Cups is about with your connection with yourself, is to get the different parts of yourself in harmony, because that's another key word with the 2 of Cups. Making sure that that's harmonious so you're able to accept this blessing that's about to bloom in your life, okay? Now I'm interested about the 4 of Cups and you not noticing it. I'm going to ask a little bit more about that. Spirit, what's with the 4 of Cups? Why don't they notice it? Okay, we have... I'm actually going to flip these over because it's like 5 cards that came out. We're going to shuffle again and we're going to ask for just 1 or 2, so... I don't know. I got butterfingers today. I keep shuffling things really weird. Okay, Spirit, 1 or 2. Thank you. Clarifier on the 4 of Cups. Why don't they notice it? Is it because they just don't expect good things to come their way? We have the 6 of Swords reversed, along with the Queen of Pentacles. Why don't they expect it? 4 of Cups out of the blue. Well, I'll say this. Because a court card came out for you, pile 2, the Queen of Pentacles can technically represent a person, as most court cards do. And a Queen of Pentacles is someone who is older, feminine energy, tends to be probably an earth sign, like, Taurus, Virgo, and, God, what is the other sign? Capricorn. I always forget that one, which is sad because I'm a Capricorn moon. I should remember. For some reason, I don't. Yes, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And so feminine energy with that. And on top of that, even if that doesn't exactly align, they're at least someone who is strong in their feminine energy regarding work, career, finances, stability, and resources. Okay. And I almost wonder if with the Six of Swords reversed, that card typically represents like an inability to move on or needing to move on, but they can't. Oh. For some of you, I apologize, this might resonate with every one of you. There's an opportunity coming in terms of, this is why you don't expect it. It's because it's an opening that this person is leaving. They can't currently leave it right now, and they need someone to fulfill their role with something. And so you're the one that could fulfill that role. For those of you, like here's a really good core tangible example. Like, so literally, let's say you are a musician. That means like someone's like leaving a band and they need a new person to play that particular instrument or be a singer, and then you're like the perfect person to fill that role because this person wants to leave. Okay. Or it could also be too that like they want to add another person, and maybe like their manager is saying, hey, like let's add this instrument, or like they're figuring out, I don't know, I'm not in a band, so I don't know exactly how it works, but possibly it's like whoever is in control of the finances and like the direction of things like that, they're like, oh, maybe we should add this kind of person to the band. And then they see you and you're like, oh, or they're like, oh, you're like the perfect person that we need. Here you go. It's some sort of like gap that you're filling, I feel like. And that's why the opportunity comes around back again to you. Okay. And that's why you're not expecting it though, because you're like, well, you know, maybe you've been, and even if it's not music, it could be other things. Maybe you've been like applying to things, or maybe you have been like looking for opportunities and you've been like asking around, and it's like no one's really getting back to you. You're not really getting a lot of feedback, etc. And then all of a sudden this person comes out of the blue and they're like, hey, we realized you're exactly what we need for this in this gap that we have, and we need you before we can move on. Hence why the Six of Swords is reversed. Before we can go to greater pastures, or before this person can leave, they want to find a replacement of some sort. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling. That's why you're not expecting it. Okay, so look out for that as well. And then I do want to ask just one last question on, like, what exactly does it bring you to in terms of this new direction with the Ace of Swords? And also Ace of Swords can represent a new idea too. So I wonder if there's a little bit of a transformation even within the goal or the opportunity that you're not expecting. And what I mean by that is, like, say, you know, like it was your goal to join a band of some sort. And so you have been looking like for this opportunity in this particular way that you've been perceiving, like, this is exactly what I want. And then the new idea is that the opportunity opens up for you, and there's some part of it that's almost new or a slightly new direction that you weren't expecting, but yet it still fits. Okay, but let's ask. Spirit, more about the Ace of Swords, please, for pile 2. Can you tell me, like, more about this new direction, and or, like, where does it lead that's positive for pile 2? Could just mean, like, a new path in life in general. Maybe you're so successful, you're able to kind of give up this other thing if you don't want to do two things at once, and you can follow that new path entirely. Okay, we have the Four of Pentacles reversed, which is usually it's like someone holding on to their money, but reversed, it's like letting it go. Resources finally being let go of in some way. So being given resources for the thing that you want to do, that's part of it. And then we have the Eight of Cups reversed, which is very similar to the Six of Swords in that it's a card of movement. And in blessing readings, I read what would normally be like a negative card. I read in a more positive manner in a blessing reading, because we're asking, well, what is going to get better, or what is the joy coming? Of course, you know, recalling the title of the reading today. And so an Eight of Cups reversed in that situation would mean, let me think about it for a moment. Finally being able to move on where we were stuck with something before, especially emotionally. I'll say this. There's just a little bit of advice here is what I'm hearing from Spirit. When this opportunity comes along for you, pile 2, you might hesitate because you're still emotionally attached to the way that you were viewing what you wanted before. Like when you initially pictured, well, this is exactly the opportunity that I want. Like that's like what you're thinking in your head right now, as in like, that's the direction I want it. I want this particular thing. If you stick to that too much, then you might have struggles finding the resources released to you hence the Four of Pentacles reversed, in order to emotionally make this progress towards what it is that's waiting for you in this blessing, aka the new opportunity. So I guess just in general, be a little bit more open-minded about the way that you view opportunities in this situation, and that will help bring you the opportunity that you're looking for. It might not look exactly like what you expected, okay? But it's kind of like moon energy in tarot. I'm surprised you didn't get the moon card, in that it's something's kind of illusory about it. Something's a bit of an illusion in terms of it. It looks one way, but actually it turns to be out a completely different way. It's like a blessing in disguise is maybe a better way to put it more succinctly. So just keep that in mind. Don't be so emotionally attached to certain viewpoints or certain outcomes. Be more go with the flow about it. Speaking of water with cups, right? And that might help you find this new direction and this new opportunity, because that will help release resources in order to help you support this dream and this goal. Okay, so just one little bit of advice there from Spirit, but as a blessing reading, it does mean it is coming for you. It's just that it might make it smoother if you do heed that advice, okay? Beautiful. So that was your reading today on the joy blooming in your life soon. I hope that you liked it, it resonated, and it helped you, of course, number one. And if so, you know the drill: like, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those three things, if not more. Every little bit helps the channel out so much, and I'm very appreciative of all of you and everything that you give me in terms of, engagement, in terms of feedback, hearing your stories, etc. And so yeah, thank you if you choose to do those things. And as we say in our tradition on Lone Pine Tarot, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night, Pile 2, and I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye. Hello there, Pile number 3. Welcome to What is Blooming in Your Life Soon in terms of blessings and joy reading. And of course, as you recall, you were drawn to the beautiful yellow rose as your pile leader / flower. And at the bottom it says enthusiasm and friendship as your theme. And the quote says, "A single rose can be my garden, a single friend, my world," by Leo Buscaglia. Now, we'll put that at the very top by the pine cone. And let's get more of a glimpse into your blessing and your joy here with your oracle cards to start. So calling on Spirit for your highest and best good, of course. Please tell us more for pile 3. What is this joy blooming in their life soon? Okay, for sure this one was screaming to come out, so we'll take it. We have, the Merchant with the element of earth. Self-worth and trades. So for a lot of you, it might be related to business. Could also be related to knowledge, because we do see apples here. I would associate apples with the theme of knowledge. Beautiful. Finances, making money. Trading in some way. Also self-worth in terms of value, not just outside of ourselves, but value that we gain within ourselves. And then the second card we have, the Witch. Just like pile 1 today had this card with the element of water, with experimentation and rebellion. So you're kind of similar to pile 1 today in that you're trying something new, I think. Either you've already started doing it recently, or you have been considering it, you've been thinking about it. And a lot of you, I think it's related to either some financial project, or of course with the Merchant, I think of someone selling something. Of course, that's traditionally what that means. So a new business idea, a new a new product. If you already have a small business, you're like, I don't know, I'm gonna maybe experiment with this. I'm gonna kind of see what's going on here. Try it out. Wouldn't be shocked if maybe you get the Two of Wands today, or the Eight of Pentacles. That's kind of the energy I'm feeling so far. It's the energy of planning for the future, but also being nose to the grindstone, working hard at something. But let's keep going. We'll see what else pops out. We have leadership too. Yeah, a lot of you kind of come off as entrepreneurs. We have, of course, leadership card makes me think of people that have a small business of some sort, or like I said, not to repeat too much, you might be considering it. We have a polar bear with the North Star Polaris up here. Something that is aligned with your true purpose too, because that's what I always see the North Star as a symbol of. It's something that is our true north. what our soul is actually calling us to do. So that's another hint about where this blessing is coming from. For some of you, it might even be, maybe you aren't at, like the owner of a business quite yet, but maybe you've been working at one and they've been considering like someone's retiring soon and they're kind of thinking like, oh, well, we need a replacement for the leader. In that case, or CEO, I should say, maybe, or business owner, whatever the title is, you know what I mean? In that case, it could also be, technically, if not your own business, then a promotion to the leadership of the business that you work at. But let's keep going. We'll see. We have, from the Surrender deck, you're definitely the entrepreneur piles today. Or, excuse me, pile. Singular, not plural. Well, okay, kind of repetitive, but a really, really good repetitive thing, right? We have surrender to success. You are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. So I don't really need to explain it too much. Pile 3, as I said, kind of repetitive, but it's a good thing because it's good to have success, of course, number 1, but number 2, or B, I should say, is that in my readings, when we do see repetitions like that, that often means it's a synchronicity affirming things that we've already been kind of seeing so far. And so, I mean, quite plain, straight, and forward, I think you're going to see success with a business idea of yours, pile 3, here in the near future, something that's new and experimental, as we were talking about. And I think some of you, too. We didn't talk about your yellow rose too much. A few of you, some of you, might resonate with this being something that you're doing with a friend, because, yellow rose does technically represent friendship, versus red roses are like love. I think, like, white roses are like purity and innocence, but yellow roses are like, best friend vibes. You'd give a yellow rose to someone who's a friend. And so some of you might be in business with a friend with this, or it's a business partnership, perhaps. Maybe that's part of what has been influencing it so far. Let's keep looking at your tarot cards. Then we have, the 4 of Swords reverse, which means something becoming active was maybe a bit sleepy before, was kind of slow moving, very fitting for a spring reading. I think even pile 1 also had this card on top of the same witch card. So if you were also drawn to pile 1, that might be why, because it's kind of similar vibes. But yes, very spring energy, something awakening after a time of sleep, like winter into spring. We have things thawing for you, especially in terms of maybe if you've already started the business. At first, it was quite slow. You're like, oh man, checking your watch, like, when am I going to get the sale? When am I going to get this thing going? When am I going to get customers or clients, etc.? And so you've been waiting, hemming and hawing, and then all of a sudden we see this thawing with the 4 of Swords reversed. This thing wakes up, just like after winter we have spring. We have the earth growing again, and look at that, we have 8 of Pentacles, okay? And in a blessing reading, I do read what would typically be a negative card differently, because we're asking Spirit, what's a positive thing that's coming, right? And the 8 of Pentacles reversed normally would mean, maybe we need to work harder on something, or, maybe we're not getting everything out of what we put our labor into. And this can technically be, in my spread with the 5 cards, I like to use the recent past cards. So that can mean, similar to the 4 of Swords reversed, it's like things have been kind of slow, things have been kind of sleepy. Maybe you weren't really getting a lot of progress out of your hard work, and you have been hard at work, pile 3, because an 8 of Pentacles is someone that is completely nose to the grindstone. In fact, I almost wonder if a lot of you are earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I almost want to say more leaning Virgo and Capricorn, but of course some of you could be Taurus, but I'm hearing more Virgo, Capricorn energy off this reading. That, or you have a lot of those placements in your astrological chart is what I'm feeling, okay? Just a lot of very earthy kind of vibes here. Very good. I always like earth signs. Down to earth, excuse the pun. Then we have, the 6 of Cups reversed. Now, we have a bit of an influence here of the past. And normally that would be, once again, a negative card being reversed, but in a blessing reading that can mean what was lacking in terms of your past is going to change in the future. And of course, as a Cups card, it can also represent connections and relationships. And so for those of you that resonated with maybe a friend has been a part of this, maybe in the past, part of the lack of progress has been someone that you went into business with and they were kind of part of the stall. Maybe they weren't really pulling their weight. Maybe they were kind of causing things to slow down. And so you've been so far lacking success because of maybe what they have been blocking, right? In which case this would mean that that's also turning around. Now that might mean that they finally kind of pick up the pace and start working at your own pace and pulling their weight, of course. It could also mean too that their influence might be removed from the situation in a way that is favorable to you, in that they can no longer block and stall that progress, as I was saying. So could also be a sibling for some of you, because sometimes the Six of Cups is a sibling card, or it can also just be family in general. Maybe you went into business with a family, or it is a family business, in which case I do kind of see those problems resolving too, if it's more family or like a sibling that's been causing some issues, okay? But we'll keep going. Or maybe you wanted to do the business and it was like family who didn't want to do it with you. And so you were like, I don't know, I wish I had more support here. That could mean too that maybe they're going to support you a little bit more in the future with this blessing. And then we have the Fool. Okay, very good tidings, especially speaking of the White Rose with innocence and new beginnings and rebirth. We have the White Rose in her hands for the Fool. She's starting a new adventure, and it's also upright, being a successful new adventure. So I think a lot of you actually might not have started this yet, because you do have the Fool in the near future position, okay? And the new, Fool in the near future position would mean we're going to start a new journey very soon. Well, I'll tell you this, for those of you that fall in that camp and you're like, oh yeah, I haven't started it yet, I'm not ready, but I'm kind of thinking about it, it's going to be a successful launch of this new thing. For those of you that have already started the business and you're like, yeah, I've already had these issues, right? And then kind of things have been stalling. In which case, I would see the Fool for you guys as more of an interpretation of a new complete revitalization of the business or the thing that you're trying to get success with, okay? So that could mean maybe you're completely rebranding something, and so it's kind of like the rebirth, quote unquote, of a business or an idea. Or, naming something a new way, not just rebranding. Or maybe you're kind of trying a second iteration, or like a sort of twin idea to the original thing that wasn't working out so well. Or maybe for some of you, if you were in a business partnership, you're separating here and you're kind of doing your own thing that's very similar, but you're like, I'm going to do it in a better way than the way that it was when I was in partnership with this other person with the first business. It's something along those lines. Either way, whatever your case, however it resonates, pile 3, that means you're going to be very successful with this new beginning, okay? And sometimes the Fool can also mean travel. Of course, she's all the way traveling to somewhere new. She's got a knapsack over her shoulder. It means she's kind of moving somewhere. So it could also mean the move is also a very good move for you. Okay. Lots of happy, sunny energy there. And then the final card today, from the first spread at least, is the King of Pentacles reversed. And once again, I read typically negative cards in a blessing reading differently. And the King of Pentacles reversed in a blessing reading would mean where we were lacking success before, especially when it comes to masculine energy meets earth, which would mean, external manifestation, the collection of finances, the organization and structure and order around finances, etc., where that was lacking before, hence why it's reversed. That's the energy that's going to be corrected through this blessing, in terms of now we have this success, which, once again, kind of redundant, I know, I apologize, but it's good to see those synchronicities here between, your Surrender card and the Merchant card and the King of Pentacles, etc. Wonderful. So quite straightforward. Now, to summarize pile 3, you're going to have success with this new thing that you're trying and or revitalizing in some way, or splitting off and doing your own thing within a new form of some sort, okay? Now, I do want to ask some more questions, because we do still have some time left. And if I was sitting in your position, I'm trying to think, what would I want to know most right now? I'm going to ask, why is it successful? Because if I were you, that's what I would want to know. Spirit, why is it successful? Why does it get off the ground? Why is it successful? Okay. So typically, once again, 9 of Wands reversed would be, we gave up energy. But in this kind of reading, I would see it as you persevering despite the odds. So it's successful because you didn't get tired out and you didn't give up. It's very possible, too, that for those of you resonating with, like, other people were a part of this, or maybe one main business partner or your family, before it was like their lack of perseverance was what was holding you back, and it's like you're the one that stands and wins the war. Because that's another interpretation of the 9 of Wands, is that it's someone that's been in a war, and like, yes, they might have lost the battle technically before, but they know that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to lose the war. That's why it represents determination and perseverance. So your perseverance has been key. We also have the 7 of Cups, which can mean distilling many different opinions or many different desires into one tangible, focused goal, okay? So part of the way that this comes about, too, is because of your great focus into... Oh, there we go, sorry. and a little bit of a post-it note. Sometimes I use these to cover nudity on cards, so hopefully a nude card doesn't come out because that came out. Anyways, I don't know. Hopefully YouTube doesn't get mad at me. Anyways, yeah, distilling your dreams and your desires into one focused thing. So that's also part of why this succeeds. So if you're still kind of in the figuring out phases, that would be a really good thing to focus on before you launch this, is to make sure it's one unified vision and you're ready to step into it with full energy and full intention and not scattered energy in different directions. Okay. So that is a little bit of advice there from the Seven of Cups. And then the other how this comes about, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles can technically represent a person. A Queen of Pentacles in a how reading could be someone comes along that is a feminine earth energy, so Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, like I said, and they offer you assistance in some way regarding career connections or finances or money and or stability, things like that, resources, etc. Okay, so that might also be part of it. If you're already recognizing who this is, I believe that they might play a role in the how this comes about and the how you find the success with this business idea or new venture, etc. And then on top of that, if you're not recognizing it as a person, I can also read court cards in the way of energy. So that can mean through you not only being perseverant and focusing your intentions and your dreams, it comes about because of your internal security regarding this business idea. So be confident in this idea, pile 3. Be assured that it's going to work out. And we have those apples repeated again here. She's got apples here, and there's also apples in your merchant card. Remember, I said that represents knowledge, at least to me personally. So I think your knowledge might also play a part here as well. So lean on your experience. Some of you might be more along the, have the inclination to doubt yourself. But what I'm hearing from Spirit today, pile 3, is you know exactly what to do. You already know how to do this. I'm hearing like the back of your hand. Even if you haven't technically done this specific thing before, you have enough experiences from your past ventures and your past career and job and goal-related things that you've done that I think you just kind of have it in the bag. Really what this reading is, I think, is more, it's a blessing reading, but it's also Spirit just kind of encouraging you and reminding you, you do have the power to manifest this dream, pile 3. So please believe in it. Also, please believe in your ability for leadership as well, especially for those of you that this is an entrepreneurial focus or goal. Believe in your ability to be an entrepreneur. Okay, you can handle it. I know you can. And then to cap off your reading today, I do want to ask the breadth of where the success is going, because the reading was, you're getting a success, which is great, right? And we talked about how. But let's just maybe get a few final cards on where does it really lead in the end? Tangibly, what's the success? Is it money? Is it acclaim? Let's see. We have the Ace of Swords reversed, which, once again, we read differently in a blessing reading. That to me would mean a whole new path and direction in life. So it gives you a new lease on life. It gives you a new direction to follow, something that you're actually passionate about. It mentally stimulates you too. Perhaps what you were doing before was not mentally stimulating, because that is the energy of swords and tarot is air, which is about the mind. Okay. New ideas taking off. We also have the Empress, more feminine energy. It's also a success in terms of it gives you more ability to be creative. That's what the Empress is all about. And feminine energy in general, too. She is the motherhood card, technically, for some of you. If this applies, though it might not resonate with all of you, perhaps part of this goal is that you wanted more time for, no matter your gender, parenthood, I guess, but technically, I guess, motherhood with being the Empress, right? Maybe it's a new business idea that actually allows you to be more present for children if you do have children currently, or if you don't have children, it might also apply to you in that it allows you more time for like your other, focuses, like your other children, so to speak. Even if it's not literally children, it could be like, it gives you more time and resources to do other things, right? Whereas maybe before you had this just one thing you did and it took up all of your time, but now it gives you more flexibility and it gives you more, I think, soul space to be creative as well. Because I wonder if what you were doing before, I'm getting the sense that it was stifling your creativity, pile 3. And so now this allows you to be more creative. It allows you to nurture things more too. That's another key word that's very prominent with the Empress in tarot, okay? The other part of the success is, the Devil, which normally would be negative, but once again, this is a blessing reading. And so the Devil would mean, in this case, where you felt chained before, where you felt held back and stuck and almost in a jail cell of the soul. the success is you freeing yourself from that. So a lot of you, like, say, if you are trying to make a transition from a 9 to 5 to more of an entrepreneurial job where more flexible time, or even if it's not, an entrepreneurial thing, like maybe you're doing a hybrid of like, 2 different part-time jobs, but then once again, it allows you more flexibility and like time with things. Yeah, pile 3, it just frees you in some way. It makes you feel more free to create and more free to try new ideas. That's another way I see these 3 cards working in harmony with one another. And 2, it's like you're no longer stuck in a certain cycle that makes you feel trapped. It's like a key to the door of success that is not just the success, of course, with, maybe, financial success, which is great, right? But also success in terms of you finally feeling fulfilled in your freedom and not stuck somewhere, okay? So beautiful reading for you today, pile 3. I'm very excited for you and this blessing coming forward for you. Looks like lots of success in your future. Don't be afraid to experiment, but also don't be afraid once you've experimented to hone that focus into that single goal, right? Pull all your resources, I can't talk today. Resources together, I got the word out. Pull all your resources together, hone it into that one goal, go forward with boldness and courage. Don't be afraid to walk into that new adventure with the Fool, remember? And I think you will find yourself justly rewarded for your efforts. Beautiful. So that was your What Joy is Blooming for You Soon reading for today. I hope it helped you. Number 1, you liked it and it resonated, of course. Number 2 and 3, I guess. And if so, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much if you choose to do any one of those 3 things, if not more than one. And thank you just for every little bit. It helps a lot with the channel, even if it's just liking the video. So I'm very eternally grateful for all of you. And in our tradition, as I always say, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or your night. And I hope to see you again in the woods someday soon. Bye, pile 3.